a lot of these public would get securitized loans relatively cheaply, you know, very low interest rate for 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, much lower than you can get on anything else. And of course their anticipation was that the market was going to continue to go up forever, and then they turn around and flip these, and people were doing this and making, you know, 100% return on investment in a year, you know, or 200% return on investment in a year or two. So our entire underwriting system was basically undermined, and it all began when, you know, when these underwriting standards actually went down, you know, as far as they did with the securitized market. And I'm sure the purpose of HUD, when they were setting the goals for these, for anything that they were for the underserved market, was that these guys would actually get loans, they would be able to afford the housing that they were getting that was affordable, and you know, they could actually survive better, and you know, that was the ultimate purpose. But they were toxic loans. They were horrible loans. People knew, who were giving people these loans that basically had the same job for 20 years, that they weren't going to be able to qualify for a loan for when they qualified at that low 2% today, but it was going to reset to 3 to 4 points above LIBOR in 2 years, and they definitely weren't going to qualify. So lenders were definitely responsible. Their loan officers, the lenders themselves, the heads of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and all of their employees, the entire U.S. government, HUD, everybody really needs to take their responsibility 100%. And if each person takes 100% responsibility, then you know, I think that we'll be a much wiser and stronger nation into the future. And if we each one own up to our own responsibility in this, basically, it'll be a better day tomorrow. You know, if somebody needs help with these loan modifications, for instance, get some help. There's HUD counseling that's available for free. There's lenders, of course, will counsel for free. Most assistance companies now are supposed to be free, no charge until the product is gotten. So now new loans are not stated income anymore, unless you have 50% down, or unless you have an 800 credit score, or you know, something like that. We're basically back to full disclosure loans. So if you're lucky to be in a home that's just slightly underwater, you may want to hang on to it, because even in the full document loans, the requirements for the person's income, the requirements for rental income, all of that is much, much different than it is on the loan modification process. It's much tougher out there for a regular loan. So if you can keep your home, if you're only 125% or less underwater on your home, I definitely advise that you stay in the home, get your credit up to snuff, and maybe go for the home affordable refinance loan as soon as your credit is back in better shape. So basically, you have to follow the standards. If you're making too much income, you're not going to qualify for a loan modification, of course. So you know, you have to realize that if you do make too much income, just handle it. If you can't if you don't want to make the payments, you don't want to keep the home, then do a short sale and see if you can get out of it now while the getting's good. But you know, it's very unlikely and undesirable, really, for people that can really afford these loans to all go for whatever assistance they can get, because there isn't really any assistance out there for you anyway, unless you lie. And of course, if you lie, you'll end up on some FBI site at some future time. So I would not do it. So basically, you can see if you've got a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan by typing in, Googling, does Fannie Mae own my loan, or does Freddie Mac own my loan? And if they do, chances are there are assistance options open to you if you actually do have a hardship. And currently there is a stress to actually add principal reduction on the loan modifications for the Home Affordable Modification Program in the later portion of this year. So keep an eye out for that and talk to your lenders about that, because this is about ready to come forward. The U.S. Congress had congressional meetings now with the 4 top lenders, and I think they're starting to soften. Certainly Wells Fargo is. B of A still needs a little bit of work. But hopefully we get some of this actually hitting our lines in the end of 2010. And, either you can get a decent enough loan modification to stay in your home, and eventually it comes right side up and no longer underwater. And if you've got a much higher than 125%, I would definitely hold out a little bit for a loan modification if you can, because you could get that principal reduction potentially. But a lot of the larger lenders are very afraid of reducing principal. Just so you know, they don't want to set a precedent. They don't want this to become a future automatic button that you press. Okay, let's force lenders to lower their principal. Obviously, that could close down the entire lending market that we know. And what investors are going to want to loan you money if somebody's going to later put a gun to their head and say they have to reduce principal. So, but now we've got 50% of all these mortgages are Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. You would think that the government certainly controls Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac now. In fact, they're not even on the stock market anymore. The shares went down so low. But basically, certainly I would think that Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac should offer principal reduction on the Home Affordable Modification Program loans in every case where a person is qualified for it. And I'm sure there will be tiers of implementation, like you'll get a loan modification initially, and then if you perform on that for 6 months, then they'll offer the principal reduction if that's still an issue, etc. But certainly I think that it's important that you study up on what your lender is going to do. If you're part of the Fannie Freddie owned loan, you're probably going to have the better workouts, but even the other guys, the lenders, are starting to offer better, more affordable loan options. They're required, actually, to. If they're receiving home affordability and stability plan funds, the lender is supposed to explore and offer, loan modifications that are similar to their public. So definitely, you've got a constitutional right. You've got the government actually saying if they accept these funds that they have the duty to offer it to everybody in their portfolio. So, and certainly it is unreasonable search and seizure if something Fannie Freddie would do, your other lender isn't going to do. I think that's certainly a definition that would be acceptable of what would be reasonable seizure. If Fannie Mae couldn't or wouldn't possibly approve you because you're just way too low or way too high, then perhaps that would be reasonable then to go to foreclosure. So hopefully we've got some kind of distinction there on the underwriting rules and on these guidelines, so that we have a more uniform process, and we have I think once we do have a more uniform process on all of this, the craziness with the low market is going to start going away, and the prices will start actually going up. Well, that's all that I'm going to go over today on that. Thank you very much, and keep in mind that our toll-free number is 877-333-4506, and you can look at all my various videos and actually see the transcripts of them, along with a lot of other information on the blog and website, which you can get to via www.foreclosurefreedomnetwork.com. Thank you, and have a great day.